content over everything.
That's a good answer.
What do you have against Muhammad?
What about Muhammad?
What do you have against him?
What do I have against him?
Yeah. No, about the religion, but himself. Why?
So there are reports of him behaving in an immoral way. Like, for example, the way that he...
Did you read about him?
Yeah,
What do you know about him?
lots of things.
Like?
Like, for example, he attacked people who never attacked him.
Like who?
Like the people who worshipped Dul Khalasa.
Those people have a name. Like you think he attacked France or...
Yeah,
so those people who?
There are several tribes who worshipped at Dul Khalasa.
Who?
Like, for example, I'll look up their names now. But I just...
You have a name. So
Yeah,
no,
sure.
just telling the truth,
Okay.
just follow the people say.
No, trust me, I've read about this, but I'll look it up for you now. So let's see here.
Exactly. It's beautiful. It's exactly crickets.
Let me zoom in. So the tribe of Katham.
Cat?
Yes. Do you know them?
Cat?
Yeah.
There's nothing called cat.
Yes, there is. Come and. Well, okay. Katham. Yeah, here's the Arabic.
Oh Lord, have mercy. Omar is there.
Okay.
Look, he's over there.
Oh, he's gonna want.
Leon, Omar is there.
Jesus, rat boy.
You know who's Khantham is? It's not tribe, it's the name of the person. And he was with a hypocrite.
He's a
When
person.
he came,
Who's the
the
person?
Khatham.
Katham.
Khatham, yeah.
But he has a tribe.
Khantham.
He has a tribe, doesn't he?
He is the boss of the tribe. He's not a tribe.
Okay.
He's not a tribe.
So
he was
there's-
with a hypocrite.
What do you
You know,
mean he's
we
a
come-
hypocrite?
Okay, once he came to the Medina from Mecca, okay, the city of the Prophet, okay, he make a deal with the Jews who was there and everything. He called them for the religion of Islam, okay. So he said, deal, worship, but don't come against us. What they do, they deal with other hypocrites and other non-Muslims or Jews, so they make a fight with them, they war with them, with him.
Okay.
Okay, so how you kind of say attack?
Well, I've got more evidence though, and I can send you an email because I've written this all out in
But we
detail.
are here. We're not here to send each other emails. Because
Well,
whatever your
well,
mind.
I can't-
No, listen.
No,
Whatever
I-
you're going to say in your mind.
No, I have
But you
evidence
know-
to show up.
listen,
I have
listen.
evidence, but that
Listen,
backs
we
me
have
up.
a law in Islam. Okay,
What?
especially with these two, the Christian and the Jews.
What about
Okay.
the Christians and the Jews?
Yeah. Okay. You are closer to us than other. Our men can marry you women, which is two religions.
I'm not
really.
Christian.
Jewish, whatever it is, Jewish or Christian.
What
Okay.
about it?
So when you're talking about Britain, okay, in the name of Jesus, you are the people who make the first move against us in the name of the Jesus in the 60s, 40s, 30s, 20s. I'm not defending what the people what they did here, okay. But when you attack him, if you're attacking the Arab, I won't blame you. If you're taking certain country, okay. But when you're attacking the religion and the prophet that religion, and say, hold on, you have no right.
No, I do.
Okay, now whatever
course I have the
those,
right.
listen, whatever who was the minister of that time, the 30s or 20s here, okay, when they came and attack the Muslim countries.
Okay, it sounds
Okay,
like
in which
like
name?
you have more of a problem with history, whereas I'm
come on,
talking
when you
about
want to learn
Muhammad's
something,
life.
when you want to learn something, you will learn. Okay, what they do, they attack the Muslim countries in the name of Jesus.
Okay, what does this have to do with Muhammad?
Okay, now I'm gonna say, I'm gonna tell you, okay, if you have something wrong with your father, for example, or your manager, I don't have nothing wrong, I won't be against you. Now you're attacking Muhammad like he was your enemy. And you say, if you are Christian, you say, no,
Muhammad
all
is an
right.
enemy of disbelievers.
Like who?
Muhammad
What
ordered
he
people.
say or what he do or what he taught us to be against you.
Okay, I'll show you.
You know, this non-Muslim, if you don't believe in Jesus, but as a prophet, not son of God. Now, I'm against Boris Johnson, but not against him personally, but about his political. But you're against a man, okay, which we believe he's a prophet, like he was against, standing in front of you, this is something personally to you. If you talk about religion, okay. You have something against the Arab or Indian or whoever is in some country, some people say this you right.
Okay.
But I cannot attack, for example, the British people because of the protocol of Boris Johnson.
Okay, so Muhammad said that he has been commanded to fight the people until they testify that there is no God but God, and that he is the messenger of God, and that they establish regular prayers and pay zakat.
Okay.
So he's saying that people should be fought just because they're disbelievers.
Okay.
Okay, and so that's something that I have a problem with, because I don't think you should attack people who haven't
And
attacked
tell
you.
me where, okay, from this hadith, it's called hadith in Arabic, okay, where he attacked the people.
I gave you an example.
Whatever place you've been sent to, he was sending a messenger. Okay, it said there's a prophet called Muhammad, and their religion after Jesus came is called Islam, and he's a prophet. You are getting to the religion or not?
What about, sorry?
He was sending a messenger, not attacking the people.
To begin with,
Okay, for example, he
begin
came
with,
to
he
London.
delivered the
For example, he came to
be
London.
given-
He said, I'm the messenger which been sent from the God after Jesus. Okay, whoever knows the Jesus, if it's the Christian or Jewish.
Okay.
Okay, who want to accept it, who don't want it, it's up to them. The
Okay.
people who don't want to, okay, whatever what they are Jewish or Christian, they worship whatever they worship. But in one thing, don't come against the government.
Okay, so why does Muhammad
Now,
have the right to just say I'm the
Now you read
ruler?
the hadith.
Why,
Now
does,
I'm
why,
gonna
why,
ask
no,
you.
why does
Now I'm gonna
Muhammad have
ask
the
you.
right to just say I'm the ruler? You have to accept me as the ruler.
Well, no, he
That's
said
that's
the
what
ruler.
a that's
He
what a
said-
warlord does.
No, he
that's
said-
warlord behavior.
Listen, if you want me, I can give you a list of
What?
the preachers of the Jesus, okay, who was attacking the whole world in the name of Jesus.
Okay, you
Okay,
can
fair
do that. It's
enough.
fine. That's
As long as
fine.
you're not Christian.
Yeah, I'm not. I already said I'm not Christian.
You're not, yeah, so there's nothing comparing to talk about comparing, you know, the Islam. Okay,
So,
I just
I
said.
didn't. Yeah, but I didn't do that.
He
So I
has a
didn't.
problem personally with him.
Yeah.
What?
With him personally, with the Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
Okay, if he has a problem with the actions of the Arab who's related to the religion of Islam or India,
They were
wherever,
following
Filipino,
Muhammad's
I
commands,
say,
though.
By the way, Jesus never waged wars. He never
oh,
conquered anyone.
yeah. So what about the people who visit us in Somalia in the name of Jesus? What are you gonna say?
Those are the
They
people
did the
after
same thing.
Jesus.
So
Muhammad waged
both
wars
Muhammad's.
himself.
Wait, you make a point, yeah?
Okay, fine.
Muhammad waged wars himself.
Excuse
Jesus
me,
never
let me
waged
tell you
a
one
single
thing.
war.
Let me tell you one thing. I was just said a while ago, okay? Don't believe what you see and what you hear always.
You shouldn't do that
Okay.
Exactly
either.
what you're doing. You
No.
believe in the Quran, you
Listen,
believe in the...
I give
people
example
that
now,
tell you
okay?
about
I give an example now. I don't like Boris because of him. The
You
Prime
like
Minister, Boris Johnson,
Ah, okay,
I don't
you
like
like
him because of him, because of his political. But that doesn't mean I have to blame the whole British because of Boris Johnson. The same thing you doing it,
No,
okay?
I'm not doing
You
it. I'm
just
saying Muhammad doesn't seem to me like
you
somebody
don't know
who acts like a
even
prophet.
his
By the way,
story.
I'll
You don't
post
know his
a,
story.
link. I'll post
I'm
the
not
comments
listening.
beneath.
I don't
with
remember
a load
one
of,
time in this
links
conversation that anybody
showing
said
who
Muslim.
Muhammad
You're
attacked.
saying Muhammad.
I'll post
Talking about Muhammad
evidence for
now,
people
not
to
about
review
Muslims.
so they can see who's right, me or her.
It's not about the whole people. It's about the specific person. I don't know
Anyway.
why you're linking.
I'm saying all over again. You don't know the Prophet himself.
I'm gonna
You know.
see
Okay.
what else is going on.
I born with it.
You're born with him.
Yeah, born learning the Quran and the Hadith
So
also.
what? You don't know him.
We didn't know him.
Have you met him?
As I asked you a while ago, how you know you are the son of your father?
I met my father.
Or
There-
you know,
there's a
he just
genetic
said
test.
you just found him
I
in the
look
house.
like my
You
father.
just found him
I
in the
act
house.
like my father.
No, you just found him
It's
in the
pretty
house.
likely that I'm my
I
that
can
I'm
give
my
you
father's
1,000
son.
people who saying I'm your father. What are you gonna say about it?
Yeah, of course, it's still possible that I might not be my father's son, but considering how likely
No,
it
what
is,
make you
how
think-
how
what-
many things are pointing to me being my father's son.
Listen, you just
I'd
want to
say
give me
I'm
an
my
example
father's son.
about the animals on us, like we are communicate and they can think because of
Yeah, they can
scientists.
think.
Because of
Not
scientists,
be-
where
not
they
because of
say,
scientists, because
no,
of
you don't try by yourself.
observation,
You don't
simple
try.
observation.
You don't try something by yourself.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes,
I
I
came from
do.
my
I had
home
a
to
dog.
here with a
I had a
45
cat.
minutes.
I
Say
told
how
my
you
dog
can
to
be
sit.
sure.
My dog would sit. If I tell a mosquito
You
to
talk
sit,
about
he will
wild
not sit.
animals like gorilla.
Some
Gorilla,
animals
you
are more
talk about.
intelligent than others.
No way, man. No way. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Okay, be fair with yourself.
Be what?
Be fair with yourself when you're talking.
Yeah,
Okay, about Muhammad. Okay. Like as I told you, you have something. You have anything against him as him between bracket, or his political. Like I
Well,
said, give you example about the prime minister. You cannot have anything against someone you never met.
This wasn't my discussion. This was James talking about Muhammad. You
No,
decided
you
to talk to him
interfere.
about
You
Muhammad.
interfere. You
Yeah,
make your
I
point. You
interfered
said your point.
because you're not being fair to him. He was talking about
Well,
Muhammad,
he's
not
old
about
enough.
Muslims.
He's old enough.
I'm sure he can defend himself.
He's
he
old
can
enough.
defend
He can
himself.
talk
I'm not-
about himself, but
listen,
you are the one who
okay.
interfere. No,
I'm
I'm
not-
asking
I am
all over
not
again.
James' bodyguard.
No, I'm asking all over again.
But
you
when I see
cannot
somebody
be,
commit a
you
fallacy,
cannot be
say something
against
that's,
someone you
that's a
never
lie,
met.
I don't really want to
You-
just let it
No,
go.
what I noticed
James
here.
can defend himself.
Yeah.
It was a lie.
Listen, again,
No,
I'm
yeah,
not James'
listen.
bodyguard. I stood here and watched the whole time. I never
Okay.
intervened. I only intervened
I'm
when she
saying
said,
all over again. Do you have
the
any
example of
right?
Boris
Do you have
Johnson.
any right?
You know.
You have any right to be against someone you never met? As I said, and give you one
is
ago,
not about-
bro.
listen,
No,
okay, look,
wallahi. I mean, I
look,
swear.
look,
That's
wait,
what
wait,
I
wait,
noticed.
calm down,
What?
calm
That's
down,
what I
calm down.
noticed. Wait, friend. Wait, friend.
Let's.
I give you.
No, wait. Let's speak about what I
give
actually
you-
meant.
No, leave that
You-
man
you
who
spoke
was
about,
here.
No, we can't leave it because that's why I
He's not
intervened.
here to defend
No,
himself. I
listen,
said
wait,
he's old
lady,
enough.
calm down.
Okay, so I'm so long.
He was talking about Muhammad. I wasn't talking about Muhammad. He was talking about Muhammad. You intervened. You started asking me questions. Fair enough. All good. Then you gave the example of Boris Johnson. You said that, okay, I don't like Boris Johnson, but I'm not going to say I hate all British people
No,
just
I
because
said
hate
I
Boris
don't like.
Johnson.
Wait. I said.
And I told you it
I
makes
said,
no sense
I
because
said I
James
don't
never
like
said
him.
he hates
Wait,
Muslims.
wait.
He only was
He
talking
said
about
different
Muhammad.
ways. Anyway.
He was saying
listen.
exactly the same thing about
Listen.
Muhammad.
Let
that
me
he was
tell you
saying
one
about
thing. I
Boris
think
Johnson.
you heard me if you are
That is why
fair.
I
I
intervened.
said I don't like him because of him. I hate his politics. So you people, you and your friends.
What people?
I don't know you.
I'm not with
I
him.
don't know.
Well, it seems like you were
This
defending
doesn't interfere for God's sake.
She was being unfair to me.
I asked him,
I was
friend, can you
look,
leave your
look,
phone for a
look,
while?
you can watch
Yeah,
my
I asked him,
videos.
can I ask
you
a
can
question?
see that I
He said
sometimes
yes.
defend Sunni
Be
Muslims
fair with
against
me.
Isa because he's an idiot and he talks and
Excuse
he
me,
tells
he
lies
was
about
making
the
a speech.
Sunnis.
All
I
Muhammad.
speak
said,
against those
can
things,
I ask
and I'm
you?
not a Sunni Muslim. I don't
He
have
said
anything
yes.
to do with Islam.
Then we make a conversation. Then you suddenly you jump and you interfere and you make your points.
I mean, interfere. You interfered with him.
No. I asked him, may I ask you a question?
Yeah,
you
I
can
asked you
ask
a
him.
question.
No, him. I asked him.
Yeah.
May I ask you? He said yes. Then we start a conversation.
Yes, about what?
But ask him that I can ask
Sure,
him.
nobody's blaming you of that.
Yeah, but I'm talking
blaming
about
you of telling a
no,
lie.
I'm talking
not
about.
Of,
I'm talking.
anything else.
Let me make a little comment, okay? You cannot be against someone you never met
Why not?
because you don't know him.
Can I not be against Hitler?
Listen. You just
I can't oppose Hitler.
no. Listen.
I can't say anything about Hitler. I
no,
can't say Hitler was bad.
you cannot
He was a
compare
bad
with
person.
Muhammad because you've seen his picture. You've seen him in the TV, whatever the videos. Okay,
so it's
that
all
he
about the
making his
picture. I've
speech.
seen Hitler's
Okay,
mustache, so I know he
but
was a
you
bad
never.
guy because of his mustache.
That's what he famous
Are
about.
you joking? You must be joking. Hitler is bad because of his ideology, not because of his
listen.
mustache.
What's called?
Not because of his image.
Hitler.
Where are you from?
Hitler.
From Ukraine.
Hitler, you've seen in some videos in the YouTube, or maybe you heard. You don't read.
Sure.
Muhammad, what we have, we read. We didn't hear him. We don't know how his voice look like, and we've seen him.
Okay.
So is that different? Now make one of these three choices, if you don't mind. Are you against Muhammad himself being prophet, or his political, or his vision about, or the religion itself, or the people who follow the religion? Make a choice. Then we can discuss it if you have enough time.
We were talking about.
No, you mix it. You're putting all
I
your thing
didn't
in
mix
one
it.
thing.
You made the example of Boris Johnson, and I spoke about Boris Johnson. I spoke why your example is
May I
not a
tell you
reasonable
why?
example.
May I tell you why? May I tell you, give you why? Okay. Now you're mixing the rules of the religion of Islam with the Prophet himself, with the Quran itself. I
was
said,
that-
I
was
give
he
you
not the
example.
person who
No,
started Islam?
no. You're talking. You attacking Muhammad himself.
Islam was started.
When you jump into
Islam
the
was started
Quran.
with the beginning of the world, and this is
Yeah,
the,
you believe that because you're a Muslim.
No.
Muhammad look before. Were there
See?
Muslims
See,
before
it's
Muhammad?
all
you know
over
what?
again.
Where were
Darren,
the Muslims
first of all,
before
what does
Listen,
Islam
let
mean?
me give it to- I'm not against
What
this
does this-
guy because
submission
of
to
him.
what?
Exactly.
I mean,
To
but
the
look
God
where
you
he's
believe in.
standing.
To the God we believe in. And what does the gods we believe in say? What does the Quran say actually?
You're Allah. You're God.
Any God. What does God say?
Not any God.
No,
What
all
does
right,
God say?
Allah
It
say
depends what
all
kind
right.
of God. Oh.
What about bad things has Allah said in the Quran that you
Can I
as far
talk
as I
about the
know, it
religion
was
because we don't know
Muhammad,
what you are
speaking the
now?
Quran.
All right,
Allah
okay,
didn't
all
say
right,
that.
all right.
Are you
okay.
Christian, friend?
No, I'm not.
What?
Why does it matter?
because
Doesn't
each
matter.
one have different way to think.
Yeah, of
The
course.
Jews is different
but
from
what
from the
bad thing-
Christian.
what about
Even the
if-
Protestant and
even-
Catholic is
what if I'm
different.
a Jew?
Each one, each one.
What if I have a yarmulke underneath
No.
this hand?
Even,
Because
even,
I need
it
to
doesn't
know
matter.
the way your mind works.
Wherever the Quran came
Okay,
from.
so wait, if I am a
even
Jew
whether-
or
whether
if I'm a
Muhammad-
Christian,
whether
it means
Muhammad
I
made
know
up
that
their-
I think a certain way.
Whether, all right, well, listen, I'm not arguing you here. Listen,
I'm not defending-
whether Muhammad
you
made
made
up
a
the
fake
Quran
example.
or whether it came from God, that's what. Can you tell me anything bad in the Quran that it tells you that you
Okay,
should
listen,
do?
listen.
What?
What about, for example, in chapter 4, verse 34, where
What?
it says that if you fear that your wives are rebellious, then first advise them, then leave them in their beds, then strike them. That's not good advice, is it?
That advice was only for that time.
How do
It
you
wasn't
know?
for all time.
Oh,
How do you know
sure.
that?
Why are people following the Quran now?
Because
It's
Yeah, why
outdated.
are there
when-
still Islamic scholars in the Middle East saying that we should follow this advice?
When that advice came, it was the same as the advice when Muhammad went back into Mecca after being in Medina. There were certain paragraphs and certain phrases just for Muhammad in the Quran, not for all of mankind.
What's your evidence for
That's
that?
cool, but isn't the Quran a timeless?
Yes,
exactly.
it's timeless.
shouldn't
But
it-
no,
so
but there's
shouldn't
a
the
lot of
scriptures
stories.
matter now
But
than
there's a lot of examples and stories in the Quran which don't actually relate to anything about what we should do, about stories of Moses, about stories of.
No, I already know this guy. He's against Muhammad himself. What you against about the whole?
Oh, no, I'm not against any. I'm
Not
against.
against anything.
What you comment about it?
Huh?
What you gonna say? What do you say about it? He's against Muhammad himself. He's
Well,
against-
Okay.
I really don't care. I'm just here asking questions.
So
What
can you-
Muhammad
It's a
done to
logical
you?
question about his
nothing.
What has
argument, not
Muhammad done
about
to you?
Islam.
Hen,
Okay,
Our
this
prophet, what's he
question.
done to you?
Yeah, he's
I didn't
making
hear
a
it.
logical
Let me
question
read-
about
let me
his
read to you.
argument, not about Islam or
No, I'm just
Muhammad.
asking you, what's he done
No,
to
he's
you?
I'll read
against
it out for
Muhammad.
you. It's narrated
Look,
that
lady,
the
not
messenger of
everybody
Allah
who
No, no,
said-
not
disagrees with
narration.
you
I'm
is
talking-
against
I'm
Islam.
talking, no,
But I
I'm
disagree
talking
with you
the
reason
way
what has
he
not
was
mentioned-
speaking.
Rasulullah
He was,
sallallahu
he
alaihi
said
wasallam, what's he done to you?
He's dead, so he hasn't touched me at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
So why are you bad mouthing him for?
499.
Why you?
Because he's
499
telling
was
people
about
bad
ever
things.
heard?
Because he's telling people to do bad things.
I will challenge you. Have you ever heard a Muslim badmouth Jesus Christ or Moses or any of the other so-called prophets?
That's irrelevant.
that you-
Every
No, it's
single
not.
Sunday I come.
I'm not.
here.
I'm not a Christian.
You find me one Muslim here. I challenge
find
you.
you many.
But-
Go on, find me one that will badmouth Jesus
I
Christ.
can't
So
run
Yeah,
what?
but
back here.
it's
There
not
was
written in his
no-
ID. He's Muslim.
Come on,
Anyone can
They
find
won't
it.
come
one
with me.
Muslim who is
Listen,
prepared
so what?
to
Okay, look,
badmouth.
Muslims are
But
not
so
God's
what?
chosen people. Neither are Jews or Christians.
never said we
They
were.
all do things
We never said
that
we were.
other Muslims
No,
will
nobody,
condemn.
nobody
We
said we
didn't say
were.
we are the chosen people.
No,
Our
the
cousin,
chosen
the Jews
people.
What I'm
say-
saying is
the
they're
Quran
not
says
perfect,
the
so
chosen
I can't
people,
find Muslims
the
with
chosen
flaws.
people are the people who do righteous deeds. That's
There you
who
go.
the
You
chosen.
believe in the chosen people.
No, the
Are
chosen.
you a chosen person?
No, I don't know. The chosen
didn't say,
person.
we never
A chosen
pretend, you
person
never
is
find-
one who
the
does
Jews
good
only
deeds,
say so.
righteous deeds.
And the Christians say
Okay,
we are
no.
Let me
children of
ask
the
you a
God,
question.
So
just a very
a
quick question.
Christian can
I
be a
can't
righteous
hate on
person.
somebody I don't personally know, right?
right?
Right.
Yeah, but
is
you
that
are.
right?
He
Wait,
hates
is that right or
Muhammad.
not?
They're
For no
different
reason.
kids.
Is that
No,
right or
I'm
not?
giving you the
Well,
reasons.
Wait,
you don't
guys,
want to
let,
listen.
No, but why do you
just
hate
one
him?
question, and
I
I'm
What's he
out.
done to
I
you?
dislike him.
He
Guys,
wants to
guys,
what
ask
reason?
something.
Let-
Wait.
let me just
I
ask
can
you
tell
one
you the
question.
reasons.
Because he
I can
beat
tell you
his
the
wife,
reasons.
but he didn't
Part
beat
of
your
that.
wife, did he?
Oh, okay.
So why are you hating him for?
I
He beat his
dislike
own
him.
wife.
Oh,
So
no.
therefore you've got no reason
you
to
can
hate
Okay,
him.
look, bro, I start
I
kicking his
hate-
ass right
I
now. I
hate-
start beating him up.
Yeah, then he's got a reason.
You're
to
gonna
hate
be
you.
like, okay,
No.
okay, he's beating him up. He has the right. He's not beating me up.
No, but then he has a right to hate you for that.
Yeah, of course he
But he
does.
doesn't have a right to hate me.
But
for
what if
watching
he's
it.
weaker than me and he can't defend himself and I'm just beating him up?
Shouldn't
Well,
you?
I
Shouldn't
can't
we?
hate
That's a really
anything.
silly
yeah,
argument.
because
It's
it's
silly
so-
argument.
My friend, shouldn't we dislike all injustice, even if it doesn't happen
All
to
right.
ourselves?
So what about the injustice that you're doing to Muhammad by not allowing
Yeah.
him?
It's not an
I,
injustice.
I,
You
no,
don't admit it.
I do justice. I
It
tell
is.
truthful
What
things
is
about
justice? You
Muhammad.
know about? You never
because I'll
admit
tell
it.
you why.
If you
I'm
are-
reading
wait,
about
wait,
him.
guys, let me
No,
just
let's back
let,
to your
let me
favorite
ask
man,
this
Boris
lady
Johnson.
one.
Okay,
He's not my favorite man. He's not my favorite man.
Maybe.
Listen.
I said I'm not against him.
I
but
can't
I'm
hate
against his
somebody
idea.
that I don't personally know.
About his
Exactly.
How
political.
can you love
I don't know
somebody
Boris
that you don't
Johnson.
personally
I just
know?
see him like the
But
other
his
people.
I don't.
on TV.
It's not.
Now
It's
you
not
can
just a
say,
person.
I don't
We love the
like
message that he brought.
The rules of
That's what you have
Islam.
to understand.
Okay.
This is
But
your
he
right.
invented
Who
the
brought
rules of
Nobody
Islam.
message
nobody
to us
force you.
Is the
But
message and the man
personally,
who delivered
the
that
Prophet
message.
himself,
That's what we love.
You don't even need
You love the message.
You have-
You just read
have-
1, 2,
you have
3,
to
4, 5,
understand.
let's say
And his
100
message was,
hadith.
just be
It's enough.
fair to each other,
His man,
have
wait.
equality.
No, that wasn't all his
Yeah,
message.
no,
wrong
no,
with
that's
that?
what his message was.
You don't
today,
have the right.
no,
You
listen,
don't know
sister.
him. This is
Sister,
not
just 1
right.
minute.
It's not
Today,
justice.
today,
Can we not
1/3
find out about
of the
Muhammad
world's
from his
population.
biography?
Excuse Excuse me.
and from his hadiths?
Just 1
Give
minute.
me one thing wrong about your biography.
1/3 what?
I can tell
I
you
dare
anything.
you. You have your
He
phone.
tortured
You have,
people.
let's say,
There are
45
other
minutes.
people
He
to
that
have
have
here.
tortured
sit on
He
gold
tortured
toilets and all
Kanana.
this shit.
Kanana.
Right?
Yeah,
Is this
like
justice?
Safiya's first husband.
Is this fairness?
You know? His wife
This is
Safiya.
what Muhammad
It's
was.
funny
had a
because
first
many
husband
people
and
that
he
are sitting on the
tortured
gold toilets
He
are
lit a
they're
fire
not
on
Muslim.
husbands.
What
yes,
did
they
they-
are Muslims.
No, they're not.
fire.
Only,
Saudi
Only
Arabia, look at
Safiya's first
Oman, look
by
at all
their
those
I
rich
dare
people,
you.
the
No.
tallest building
I
in the
dare you
world.
bring.
not by
What are
their
you talking
Okay,
deeds.
so
about?
in
Not by
Ibn
their
Wallahi,
deeds.
I
Only
dare
by
you.
their
Wallahi,
deeds.
يلزم منك
Okay,
Okay, so
والله.
you're the one who has the
We have to have the
authority to
deeds.
qualify people as either Muslims or not Muslims.
Yeah, because
No,
their
No,
deeds
I read
will qualify
all the
them
hadiths,
as
sir.
whether they are Muslim or
I
not.
dare if you say, you can say, you can next, you say punishment.
because
If
I'm
you
Muslim,
don't know the
I'm
person,
Muslim,
you
you
say,
can't
hate on them.
hand.
I'm Muslim.
They want to
Never
talking
keep.
about.
But who are you to?
No, I'm not saying it's in a hadith. I'm saying it's in the say. I'm saying it's in a
And what I'm
biography.
explaining
No,
to you
he's
is
smiling. He's
No,
not
I'm
angry.
I'm saying it's in Ibn Ishaq's
true
biography.
Muslim belief
Whatever
will
what you
never
read from.
Okay.
watch
I'll show
somebody
you.
else suffer
Okay.
while he lives in luxury himself.
Muhammad.
That would never happen. That is in the Quran. So this is what the Quran teaches. It doesn't teach
I
us.
miss
What do you mean not watch anyone suffer? You're telling me that I shouldn't care about Muhammad beating his wife because she's not me or not my wife.
He doesn't beat his wife. This is just.
There
What
is
is
a
it?
hadith
No,
about
wait.
that.
No
That's
sense.
if they don't listen. So that's a big if, my friend.
Caring about
let's get back to
about
him.
others. What do you mean?
Back. Let's get back. Okay, what you have against him? What's
I
bothering you
don't have
about
anything
him?
against him. I have against your
If
arguments
you're
because they
talking
make
about
no
his beating
sense.
this
No, but
violent
your argument
sex
makes
You're
you
making a
have.
very bad job defending
no.
Muhammad.
No, but I don't have to
Yeah, it's
defend
our
him.
prophet.
You-
Wait,
well,
it's
that's
our
what you're doing.
prophet.
I don't have to defend
Why are you
anybody.
defending him?
But he
Sir, wait,
defends
wait.
himself. God will defend, and
No,
this
Muhammad.
this is.
I defended him if you don't. But all back again. What do you have against him? What's bothering you about him?
What's he done to you? That's really bothering
Again,
you.
I'm saying
I don't
you
really have
you
anything.
can.
Stalin has done nothing
No,
to
no,
me,
no, no.
except that he
That's-
exterminated 10 million of my
Finally, he
people.
said something right. He said he nothing.
Stalin
he
has,
didn't do
done,
anything.
Stalin has done nothing wrong to me, but I
Yeah,
hate him.
personally, no.
Not personally to me, no. But he's done plenty of bad things.
Well, what bad things did Muhammad do?
No, Stalin. I'm talking
No,
about Stalin.
Muhammad,
You
you're
know
so.
only what he hear and what he read.
What did Muhammad do that was so bad that you have
He
to hate
attacked,
him
he
so?
attacked people who never attacked him. Like the worshippers of Dul Khalasa.
No,
What do you mean no?
No, they attacked him first.
No,
They attacked
that's
his
the way he
caravans.
said the
It's
You
always
whole
like
have no
that. They always
evidence
attack
for
us
that.
first.
You'll never bring evidence for that.
Listen,
But
I'm
you've
saying
got no
all
evidence.
over
I do.
again.
I do.
You
I have
can
evidence
be-
of Muhammad
you
attacking
can
the
be-
worshippers
You
of
have all
Dul
the right to
Khalasa.
be against the rules of the political institution, but against him, the
But
man,
he
that
invented the
human,
rules. He
you
invented
don't have
the
any
rules.
right. It's not right.
But he invented
Listen,
the rules.
No, who say? The God says
You
so.
say Google says.
No, I'll show you from Islamic sources.
You just not any Islamic. I can have any website called Islamic source.
No,
I can
Islamic
do it by
source.
myself.
The only true Islamic source is the Quran. The
No,
hadith is
anyone can make
only the
website.
Quran is the true Islamic
Which of
source.
the Quran?
All
The only
one.
Quran,
There is
which
only one
says
Quran.
1,400.
There's not additions of the
never
Quran. There's not
changed.
first edition,
Yeah, of course.
second edition.
After Osman burned
I
all the
can
different
tell you one
Qurans, there
thing.
was only one.
Sir.
And now there's many additions.
قل هو الله أحد
الله الصمد
لم يلد ولم يولد
ولم يكن له
كفوا
كفوا
أحد. If you said قل هو الله أحد قل أعوذ برب الناس, say no, there's something wrong. This Quran says 1,400 years.
And it's the same.
The whole
That's the
planet
exact
is the
problem.
same.
It's outdated.
No way.
It is outdated.
The Protestant is Catholic.
This gentleman
166
here made the
123.
argument that
If
it
I
was,
want to follow the Christian,
I didn't say that.
You didn't hear what I said that you said. And you're saying I didn't say that.
About Muhammad's wife
Before I
being
finish.
beaten.
Okay,
Huh?
so do you
You
know the
wouldn't say
scholar
that.
Sharia at Tabari?
You said why
See,
does he
these
care?
are not
This is
scholars.
not his
He
work.
wrote the
طبعاً
histories.
علم
He wrote
الحديث.
the history.
علم الحديث.
So, listen, this is from
Wait, second one.
At-Tabari, volume 8, page 122. The Prophet gave
Yeah,
orders
the Tabari, let me tell you
concerning
one thing. You know Tabari when he born?
200, 300 years afterwards.
No,
I think so.
no. Anyway, listen.
Okay,
You know how many
A bit underprepared.
scientists
Yeah.
before Tabari?
how many what?
How
Scientists.
many? Yeah, before then it goes to Muhammad.
How many? What's the question?
How many scientists
scientists.
Yeah. Go to the.
I don't know.
Okay.
What's the question
More
about?
than-
What about scientists?
Okay,
What's that?
let me tell you about the hadith, the logic of hadith. The person who's going to say hadith, that Prophet do that. The Prophet say that it's only one of his convenience, should be very trustworthy, and he's with full mind, and he's old enough. So this said, Tabari, where he get the hadith from, you know the hadith, the one you say, speech of the Prophet,
Right.
okay? But you have to know if this one is weak or strong hadith.
Okay.
You cannot just Tabari said, get where Tabari get from first.
Okay. I can't show you that right now. I can listen. COE,
Do me a favor, do me a favor.
COE
Do it for
uploads.
yourself.
No, I'll do you a favor in a second.
No,
but
for
let me
yourself
just
only.
tell you that COE uploads these videos to YouTube. I will leave evidence in a YouTube comment by me. My username will be JamesSC, and you'll see, and I'll show you the evidence of Muhammad behaving in immoral ways from kind of Quran, Hadith, and Sirah.
You cannot get the first two sentences and say, oh, he's very violent, man.
Yeah.
I'm repeating all over again, okay? You cannot be the only right and the whole maybe 1 billion Muslims are wrong. And you are going to be right.
What about your Muslim
okay?
scholars?
The
Have you ever read kind of?
There's a false prophet.
Okay, you know fiqh, Islamic law, right? If you open any book of Islamic law written before
It's one
1700,
only. It's one only.
all of them
It's
say
on one only.
no, like if you read
It's Quran
Hanafi,
only.
Maliki, Hanbali, Shafi, they all agree in offensive jihad, in attacking people in order to spread the religion.
Okay,
So
jihad,
why do they believe
okay,
that?
If it's jihad.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's jihad, tell me the rules of the jihad. Get it?
There are lots of rules of jihad. Like, for example, you can't kill a child, for example.
And
So there's
no,
lots of them. There's lots of them.
That's-
But okay, I'll tell you one of them. You need to declare war. So you declare war.
Before I go to jihad, what's the rules?
So, for example, it's considered a fard kifaya. It's considered an obligation on the whole community.
So jihad should be in case of what?
Depends.
Of a war.
So there's two cases. If non-Muslims attack the Muslims, then it's
Yeah.
obligatory on everyone to defend
Like
themselves.
with the British
Okay.
friends, they come and visit to us in the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but even if the non-Muslims do not attack the Muslims, it is still fard kifaya. It is an obligation on the community because you have to attack the non-Muslim countries that are near to you. And this is based on Quran's chapter 929, chapters 91 to 123. And it's also based on the Sahih hadiths like, I have been commanded to fight the people until they declare La ilaha illallah. So they have their evidence. And this is the reason
Okay,
why
in the life of
all
the
Islamic
Prophet-
terrorists
in the
believe
Prophet-
in offensive jihad.
Okay, this billion Muslim, this tourist Muslim, how many they are?
What do you mean? Tourists?
Out of the billion Muslim.
It depends what time period you're talking about. I'm going to talk about...
Let's say
No,
the last,
no, why are we...
9 was
Why are we talking about
9
the?
September. No,
Why are
9
we
is-
talking about the
the
average
terrorist- the
Muslim and not the
terrorist
scholar
war-
Muslim?
the terrorist-
Why are we not talking about
Wait,
the
friend,
scholars?
wait. The word of terrorist Muslim, we didn't hear before 9/11.
I'm not
right?
just talking about terrorists.
No, 9/11, right?
No.
This one, did you heard this word before?
What? Jihad?
No, the terrorist Muslim or Islamic terrorist.
No,
You didn't hear before, right?
of course, there were terrorists before 9/11.
No, this was called the war terrorist with Islam.
So the
Not
war,
before
the
9/11.
war on terror, yeah, that started.
Not
but
before
there
9/11,
were obviously
right?
there were Muslims who committed terrorism before 9/11, though.
No, wait. Say the war terrorists come always with Muslim or Islam. Before 9/11, did you hear about it? No. Since
No.
9/11, we hear.
Yeah, but
Still now.
there's still
Wait,
other
wait,
there
wait,
were
wait,
terrorists.
let me-
There have been Islamic terrorist
Let me
attacks
tell
since
you
the
one thing.
80s.
No, let me tell you one thing. Now, the man who opened the fire in New Zealand, in the mosque, in last year, Eid, in New Zealand, nobody said he's a terrorist.
No,
What
no,
they say,
lots of people say he's a
mental
terrorist.
health.
Lots of people
Be
say he's a
fair.
terrorist.
No, Allah, nobody say. I've seen
well,
it CNN,
wallahi, people did
BBC,
say.
I swear that's me.
No,
And
they
BBC,
did say that he's a
and
terrorist.
Reuters,
He's a
and,
terrorist.
YouTube,
Lots of people say
and,
it.
Documentary they're saying so.
Okay,
Anyway,
lots of
let's
people
get
say
back to other points.
Okay.
Now, suppose 1,000 Muslims. How many the tourists out of the 1,000?
Very few today.
Like-
Most Muslims are better than Islam.
No, it's better than tourists, not Islam.
So,
No,
offensive
400
jihad,
for
this
the
is something that's agreed on by
100,000
Muslim
telling you,
scholars.
Okay, make it separate. Are you against Muhammad or the Islam or the people who follow the Islam? You all look at one thing.
I'll answer all of those. Am I against
which
Muhammad?
one?
Yes. Am I
Okay,
against
why?
Islam?
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, Islam, why? Because it's the rules of Muhammad. And the people who follow the Islam.
It depends. Like, I think most Muslims are very nice people.
Are not people, but sometimes they follow the rules of Muhammad.
Yeah,
See?
if
So
they
that's
if they
when you
follow
hate us.
if they follow bad
So
laws,
that's when you hate us.
if they follow bad laws,
So
then I
which
have to
one is the
condemn
bad
them.
rules you think?
Like, for example, the wife beating verse.
Or what beating?
Yeah,
It's
in
up to
chapter
them. They
4
are
verse.
couples. They are couples. There's a sex
So
violence
it's
here.
just up to them.
How
It's
many
okay.
times we read in the websites? You didn't talk about the couples whether they marry or not, the violence, who beat his wife. Talk about
So
and he's
can
Christian.
you say that again? I might be
and he's
I might be
Christian,
misunderstanding
and he's
you.
Christian.
Christians do it as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
the people who
Yeah, but they don't say. But like, if
Leave that part,
if a
leave
Christian
that
no
part.
listen
If
listen.
it's-
If a Christian beats his wife, you can't say
No, I
the
say,
Bible
let's say
tells
they
me that
follow
I'm allowed
the Christian
to.
faith. Okay. Second, what do you
No,
have against? Because we follow that rule, that's when you hate me now.
It depends which rule you follow. Do you believe that
I
people?
follow
Okay.
from the first
Okay.
verse
So
of
do
Quran
you?
till the end.
Okay.
What
Do you believe that apostates should be killed? Do you believe the murtad should be killed?
What's the matter?
Murtads. Do you believe someone who leaves Islam that should be executed and killed?
Yeah, I believe.
Okay,
But the rules-
I don't
there's
like
a
that's a
rules.
bad
There's
belief.
a rules. There's a
You know
rules for
that
it.
that's quite an
You want to
evil
live-
that's an
you want
evil
to
thing
live
for you
this
to
up
think.
but you cannot affect the others. What do you want to know?
You think that people should be killed just because they convert to
Well,
other
there's a lot
religions?
of left Islam and they still survive. They still
Not
alive.
no thanks to you.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean that if you were in charge of a country, you would write the laws such that people who
Listen,
leave
you
Islam
said
would be
you are against
executed.
Muhammad. If
Yes.
you don't meet him, I don't think you hate Hitler the way you hate Muhammad.
No, I hate Hitler
you
as
never
well.
Meet, you don't even the man who's look like.
What?
Okay, you don't even. I give 100 times of example. I said I hate Boris Johnson not because of him, because of his political things.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
it.
have anything
Fine.
against him.
Fine.
You can hate the
Politics
Islamic
aren't different from
rules,
the person.
but you cannot hate Muhammad because
course
you
I
never
can.
meet him. That guy.
No, I can read about things that he's done.
Well, I can read. I think anything about your biography. But
Yeah,
I
go
need to
for
tell-
it.
I
You,
mean,
you
the-
can. Yeah, you know, if you have evidence of me doing something bad,
No,
then
no,
you can
I didn't
dislike
meet
me
you.
as
I
well.
just read about you.
Then, but like you can use historical evidence to find out whether I've done
Well,
something or
anybody
not.
can write whatever they want.
But this
from
is
their
this is
point
from
of
this is
view.
from. But it's not just making things up. This is from Muslim sources, Muslim historians, Muslim jurists.
Listen, as I give you an example.
This
the
is from the
mosque in
companions.
New Zealand, I swear they never make that word terrorist about that man who opened the fire in the mosque.
Yes, they did.
Wallah, they never do.
Okay,
I
I'll show
dare
you
get-
example.
I
I'll
dare
show
you
you.
get from your mobile.
Okay.
In
okay,
that
fine.
times, last year I think it was. He said he have a mental health, and the media they never talk about it.
Do the people around here remember when the New Zealand terrorists attacked the mosque? Did the media call him a terrorist? Do you remember that or not?
They say he's a mental health. There's something wrong with him, and they didn't even mention his name all over again.
It's on the media constantly.
Oh, we are the top story, but we do something wrong in the whole year, not even a month. But when something crazy,
it was front
okay,
page
whether
by
it's white or
every
black,
newspaper.
anyone, but no, even the black, yeah. If you put someone in the
Okay,
book,
listen.
if you put in the top story in the
Listen.
newspaper,
How comes everyone knows about it?
I'm not racist,
Everyone
but
knows about
anyone.
that.
Listen.
But
hey,
since 9/11,
I want to show you the evidence
the word
now.
terrorists come with a Muslim or Islam.
I want to show you
But it
the
comes with
evidence
the
now.
others.
It's been labeled with.
Okay, but with the
Okay.
others will never come that word.
Do you want the evidence now?
Straight mark for us.
Okay. So,
So as I said,
look,
whether you like it,
No,
dislike
no.
it, you have against
Do you want the,
us
do you want
as
the
a
evidence?
Muslim.
Okay, I'm going to
Well,
give you the
hate
evidence
me,
whether you like it or
hate
not.
me,
Listen,
okay?
she challenged me to find evidence of the media calling the New Zealand mosque shooter a terrorist. I searched New Zealand mosque shooting. Here is the telegraph.co.uk, New Zealand mosque shooting. It goes on to say, first line, the terrorist failed. Defiant Duke of Edinburgh gives moving speech on unity to mosque attack families.
Okay, I'll ask you one more thing. How long it was in the media, this story?
Quite a while.
Like
I can't remember exactly. A few weeks,
few weeks.
I guess.
And we are in a top story in the whole year.
I don't know, maybe. Can you show me that? Show me. I mean, you asked me to show you something
I
from
won't blame
media.
you
Why
because
don't
you
why
hate
don't
us, man. You hate
No,
us,
why don't
man.
you show
I
me?
don't
No,
blame you.
be
I
fair.
don't
Be
blame
fair.
you.
I gave
Okay?
you the evidence.
Be
Why
fair.
don't you show me
Be
the
fair.
evidence?
Be fair and read all over again about the Prophet. No, Prophet, you don't like him. Okay. Let's say about the religion itself.
Okay.
Okay? Because you don't like some rules, some points of the religion that doesn't make it wrong.
Okay, what's the evidence that
Okay.
Islam is true?
What do you like? Which kind of scholar?
Well, what do you think would be evidence?
You mean it's come from the God?
I haven't seen any
you don't
evidence.
believe in any religion. Why should I convince you? If you are
Well,
Christian, maybe.
okay. If I came with a book and said, "Listen, my book's from God," you'd want me to show evidence.
Okay.
So, what evidence did you ask for
Since
from Muhammad?
1400, this book is the only one in the whole copy. It's in the whole world. What do you need more?
What do you mean? This is the only book in the whole world?
The only book never been changed since 1400.
It's never been changed.
The book.
Okay.
If I read to him. Example.
Okay. Okay.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil
No.
Alameen.
Is there any difference between the Hafs Quran and the Wash Quran?
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
Listen.
The simple Muslim can know the rest of the verse.
Okay,
Since
so
14th
first of all,
century.
there are other
What do
books
you
that
need
haven't
more?
been changed. I can show you, like, I know, for example, I can show you a book of maths and it has never been changed.
Maths,
Well,
if
that's
you
not
wanna agree 1
miraculous.
plus 1 is
That's
2.
not miraculous.
Listen.
Secondly, the
Yeah,
Quran
it
has
is.
been changed
It
a little
is.
bit. The Quran has been changed. Like, there are hadiths about a goat eating bits of the Quran. There are hadiths about, there are hadiths saying that a certain surah used to be longer than it is now. And also, there are differences
Wait,
between
let's get back to
Quran
the God.
today.
No,
The
let's get
Wash
back to the
Quran
God.
is
Let's
different
get
from the
back to
Hafs
that one.
Quran.
No, let's get back to that God. What's the story about?
I'll read it to you.
See, you all confusing yourself. Sometimes you jump to the Quran, then to the Prophet.
Well, you wanted
Hitting
evidence.
us, no, hitting us, okay. It's up to you. I hit you too, but you cannot be against the Prophet. Whether you like it or dislike it, you can you can disagree with us some rules, but you cannot be against the man who you never meet him.
Okay, listen.
James, the real
It was-
question I have here, what do you have against Islam? Because you're always talking about Islam this, Islam
I
that.
already answered that question earlier. You can read it when it gets uploaded. I don't want to.
I just wanted to ask you.
It takes a little while to explain. It'll be up on the.
But what is it mainly? I'm just asking you as a person.
Okay, but first of all, though, it was narrated. Okay, it was.
Islam's a threat to the British society.
Yeah. So,
Why?
I answered to, Leon earlier. You can see it on the video when he uploads it. Okay. Yeah, but I don't want to repeat myself.
You don't
Otherwise, I'll
like
be here
us.
all day.
You don't like
So,
us.
secondly,
What
it was
is wrong?
narrated that Aisha said
problem
the
is
verse
that
of
Christian
stoning
Jews, how can I answer
and
him
of
back? You don't believe
breastfeeding
in
an
any
adult
religion.
10 times was revealed.
Doesn't believe any
And the
religion.
paper was
it's
with
not
me
religion.
under my
That's the
pillow.
problem is.
When the messenger of Allah died, we were preoccupied with his death, and a tame sheep came in and ate it. And this has a footnote. These verses were abrogated in recitation, but not in ruling. Other ahadith established the number for fosterage to be 5. And this hadith is from Sunan Ibn Majah, book 9, hadith 2020, and its grade is Hassan, which means good. Okay, so, and also there's other evidence that the Quran's been changed. Like, for example, if you look at the Wash Quran
I dare
and the
you
Hafs
to bring me
Quran,
to Quran, which is different from.
yeah, the Wash
I-
Quran and the Hafs Quran.
Hafs Quran is the way we read.
Okay, do you know the
Like
Wash
I'm reading
Quran?
قل أعوذ
What about the
برب
Wash
الناس.
Quran?
Some people say قل أعوذ برب الناس. The way you say, like your accent,
It doesn't
is
have any
different
different.
from the American.
No, that's not all the difference.
Give me any 2 copies.
So, for example,
Give me any copy.
yeah, there's
Wallahi,
another
I swear, which
there's
mean
another
Arabic,
difference.
I-
In the
It's
Quran.
called in Arabic.
Let me explain
No,
it to
it's
you.
called
You
in
ask me
Arabic
questions, you don't let me explain it to
قراءة
you.
حفص. قراءة
Okay, fine, I'll let you go.
Not, listen, قراءة حفص. Okay, not book of حفص. Not كتاب القراءة. See in the grammar. What قراءة mean?
Okay, so the
No,
difference
check
is.
first. No, check first.
You asked me what
No,
the
you
difference is
said the
between the
book of
Quran.
Hafs.
Yeah,
القراءة,
yeah.
you know what I mean,
The-
قراءة?
yeah, okay, fine. The Qur'at, the
What's the
recitation
قراءة?
of Hafs.
What's the قراءة?
Most Qur'ans today use the Hafs recitation. Is that true or not?
No, not most of them. Just others.
Yeah, that's why I said
Let's say
most.
some.
That's why I said most. Okay, and so some Quran use the Wash recitation,
No,
like
some
in
Quran
North
is the
Africa.
only Quran.
Okay,
It's one
and so if you
only.
compare the two, the Wash Quran and the Hafs Quran,
What's the
you will
difference?
find.
Yeah.
I'll give you the difference right now. Okay, in the
Here's an example here. Surah 43:19. One says servant and one says slave.
yeah, I mean, that's.
You wanted to use it.
I mean, I haven't like checked that.
Example.
So
Example of what?
okay,
So between the wash and
we'll-
servant,
we'll-
one says slave and one says servant. Very different words.
No.
Different.
No.
Yes.
Can you speak Arabic? Can you read Arabic?
That's from
I mean-
the Arabic.
Can you read Arabic?
From the Arabic. From the Arabic.
Anyway,
Can
yeah.
you read the word in Arabic?
The Arabic person told me what it was.
Leave them person, you
Interpret
know,
it.
I don't know him.
There you go.
I said in
There's the
Arabic.
evidence.
In
There's
Arabic.
You understand it?
Give me the word in Arabic.
No. An Arabic person translated it for me.
You understand it?
Sir,
I understand the translation. It's translated in English.
Arab here, Christian Arab. No?
Yes. And it's,
I have another example that's
No,
different,
wait,
which
let's
is
start with his.
okay.
Friend.
Is it only Islam? Against Christians?
No, at all.
Christianity is bad as well. Yeah.
Against Christianity as well?
Not as much as Islam, because I believe that Christianity is already in decline in this country. So Christianity will have less and less effect in the future, whereas Islam is still growing. So it makes sense. Some do, some don't.
What does it say about homosexuality in the Bible?
Yeah, it says that it's punishable by death. Yeah.
So it's not only the Quran.
Yeah.
The Bible.
So I didn't bother.
Yeah, there's terrorism in the Bible, sure. Especially in the Old Testament, yeah, definitely.
What's his name?
But it's
I
only
don't know.
Islam though, you're against.
Yeah.
Yeah, to a greater degree. I've explained why though.
Even though the Bible.
It's political things.
Yeah, but
That's it.
there are few. Christianity is in decline. There are fewer and fewer people who believe in the Bible. So it's already going away without my help, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but obviously they've been altered. Their books been altered. Everyone's clocking on how corrupt it is. Yeah? So they're not really interested anymore. That's what it is.
Well, fine. I mean, it's the same end result. Anyway, so I think the main discussion's going on over there. So maybe you want to. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, okay. You asked. Yeah, how about you asked me a question earlier? Why I was against Islam? I'll explain this in full now. Like
Go over there, man. Go over there, man.
yeah, why not?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the reason is because
Cola in the building.
yeah,
I'm a nighttime guy on the camera. You know how it is, man. I don't do the daytime camera. Go ahead, mate.
yeah. So I think
Why do
that
you hate Islam? That's the question.
yeah. So I think
What bothers you about Islam?
so the main reason why I'm here, like kind of
Anti-Islam.
yeah, being anti-Islam, is because I have I think that there's a decent chance that Islam could have a negative effect on my country in the future. For example, blasphemy laws could be reintroduced if Muslims want it to be illegal to criticize Muhammad or the Quran. And so, in order to try and counter that, I want to help show Muslims that what they believe in is false, and I think that will be to their benefit as well, because they won't believe in
What are you
something
going to
false
gain out of
anymore.
showing people their religion is false?
I've already-
What personal satisfaction
like
does it give you?
I know, I like winning arguments as well, but also I think it helps people not believing in falsehoods, and Islam is falsehoods.
You're not winning no argument, you're just contradicting yourself.
What do you mean I'm contradicting myself?
All the other religions have the same thing.
Okay, say nothing about that. Well, I've already said like why I kind of consider Islam to be a higher priority than Christianity, for example. Okay, so I mean, are there any other kind of follow-up questions, or can I ask you something now?
I'm just wondering.
Okay.
For the love of God, yeah, but I always see you Islam this, Islam that, Islam this, Islam. Why are you scared that Islam's going to take over the UK?
Because freedom of speech, as one particular example, is already quite a fragile value that kind of, it's not very well established here in the UK compared to like America, for example. And so a large number of people who want free speech to be reduced is quite likely to actually have that enacted into law in the future in like coming decades. And so I think the UK...
Islam's a threat to your freedom of speech, is that what you're trying to say?
That's one way it is, yeah, definitely.
How many Muslims are in the UK and you still got freedom of speech?
So there's 7%, Muslims are probably 7% of the UK.
So why does 7% of the population bother you really if they have a religion?
Well, because that's going to grow in the future. But
why
anyway,
does it scare you if it does grow?
Because that might change the laws in this country.
It might not, though.
I have reason to believe that. I mean, it's already a risk. So why
is it a risk? Muslims have been here for years. I don't think they've done anything. Not really. It's not really. How long has Islam been in the UK?
Yeah, but if you people, most Muslims would like to see it illegal to, to do what they consider to be slander to Muhammad. They'd be happy with that being illegal.
Yeah, but most Muslims know they don't live in an Islamic country, so they have to abide by the rules of the land.
Yeah, but
so if we know this,
the rules.
Force the laws in this country. So
Okay, but
your
like,
laws are your laws.
no, but you can still.
We're not the English government.
You're allowed to have your impact on the laws. You're allowed to vote. You're allowed to follow, Muslim Brotherhood ideology if you want
That's
to.
following the country. You're going through the actual
Okay.
policies of the country.
Fine, but it would still make the country worse.
Our way of life on
No,
them.
even if it's
I
by
got
the
sold
ballot,
on you
it would
trying to
still
force
be-
my way of life
I'd
on
still
you.
consider it a negative outcome if my freedom of speech was reduced.
But that's your fault. You need to change your own laws.
Okay, and I'm doing that by trying to convince Muslims that what they believe in is false, and so then they won't
Why
want
just
to try and
Muslims,
change
though?
the laws.
I don't see you speaking to Christians,
It makes sense.
Jews. I don't see you speaking to Jewish people, Judaism, or Christianity.
Yeah, because like I said, like Christianity is already in decline in the UK, so that means fewer and fewer people are believing in Christianity anyway, without my intervention.
So more people are believing in Islam.
Yeah,
Is that
Islam. Yeah, because
The growth
Islam.
of Islam
Yeah,
is a threat to you.
because it's growing.
No, you can't say
Potentially.
Islam is the reason. Secularism and things like that is the reason why Christianity is on the decline. Atheism,
No, but
secularism,
that's not my
things like
argument.
that. So what is it?
Like I said, the reason why I talk about Islam more than I talk about how false Christianity or Judaism are is because I have evaluated that those two religions are not likely to have a greater effect on the country in the future, like going forward. They aren't likely to grow in their influence in comparison to how Islam is likely to grow in its influence, because more and more people are becoming Muslim, and Muslim people are having families.
Or secularism.
So, yeah, more people are becoming non-religious as well.
So why do you fight that?
Because I don't think it's a bad thing if people become non-religious. That's not a bad thing, in my view. Well, I've already explained, like, for example, one reason. I mean, what's your question? What is bad about Islam itself?
Fighting against it.
I've already answered. I said, okay, so
Is
did
it
you hear my answer?
The Muslims people bother you, or is it just a religion?
Okay, to check that you've
Is
been
it the religion, or is it just the people, Muslims, or is it Islam? Which one?
Okay, Islam itself is bad as well. Yeah.
And Muslims, and you're generalizing all Muslims in under one brush.
No, I'm not generalizing all Muslims. So like what I said was kind of there is a trend amongst Muslims that a lot of them would be happy to see kind of it be illegal for blasphemy to happen, for it to be illegal to slander, as they see it.
Or in the UK. In the UK.
Yeah, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Okay, no, obviously everybody has their own values that they believe in, according to how they grew up and what their religion is. But do you agree that most Muslims don't believe to force their way of life on others in this country? Or do you think they believe that they should force their way of life?
Most Muslims don't believe in
They don't
forcing the way
believe
of life.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, if they use the democratic process to change the laws,
Okay,
then
so
that's fine.
where does the
They'd be fine
democratic
with it.
process allow them to put those things in influence like your
Well, like the same way it allows anyone to influence the law.
No, but there's
And anyone can influence the law in a democratic country. You can convince people to vote for your party, and then kind of get into government, and then you.
Do you really think that's going to happen, though?
No. What's more like?
So if it's not going to happen, why does it
Let me.
threaten you?
No.
You're not
Listen
asking
to
the
the whole question.
Come on, James, I'm
That in
trying to.
particular is not going to happen. But what is quite likely to happen is that other parties, in order to try and ensure the Muslim vote, might well offer this particular policy of, we're going to make it illegal
Really?
to do
Come on, James, really?
blasphemy, illegal to do Islamophobia.
James.
No, you can see examples.
I think you're paranoid. Stop smoking weed, man. You need to stop
I'll show you the evidence. In Canada, there was a proposed law, and even in the UK actually, in the UK a few years ago, there was a proposed law which would make it illegal to do what they define as Islamophobia, and that would have included criticism of Islam as well, and that was narrowly defeated. So that this shows how fragile freedom of speech is in this country. Why I have reason to be concerned about
Is
it.
that because of the Muslims?
It's partly the Muslims' fault, partly kind of our fault.
7% of the population's fault. Come on, James.
Yeah, because a voting bloc can have a lot of influence. Like for example, in America, Jewish people are a small amount of the country, but they hold a lot of sway kind of in political parties because often they vote as a bloc.
No, there's a lot of Jewish people in politics and
That too.
governments.
That too.
Well, the APAC.
That's why they got
That too.
It's not just
and there's there's an MPAC as well. There's a Muslim Political Affairs Committee, which there's allowed to be, but there's potential there for a negative effect.
If we live in a multicultural society, that shouldn't be a problem.
The problem isn't kind of having people take part in politics. The problem is if the ideas that they want to implement are bad, then I'm going to oppose those ideas, and I'm going to. The way I see of opposing the ideas is to oppose Islam, which is the source of the ideas. What? Not necessarily. It's because of the value. It's because of particular values that kind of there is a trend in amongst Muslims to have. What?
Muslims have always had the same values as they had from old.
I don't know about that. Maybe they have.
Now you're saying there's a problem because a lot of them are coming here. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen.
Why they
there would be no problem. There's no problem with Muslim immigration if they kind of hold the same sort of values and they don't want to, for example, change the country to suit their values. Yeah, assimilation. That's what everyone wants. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
So why would you want people to become like you if they want to come to this country?
Because in order to have a cohesive society, you need to have agreement on core issues, on core values. Like you can differ in cuisine. You can have different festivals. You can have slight differences. But if you totally disagree on core issues, like for example, do you agree that church and state should be separate? Do you disagree that men and women should have the same legal rights? Then those things are problematic.
This is ridiculous.
What's ridiculous about it?
There's a lot of Muslims coming
Wouldn't it be a problem in Muslim countries as well? Under Islamic law, you want to have people having the same sort of values and not speaking out, not criticizing the current system. In Islamic law, it'd be illegal for you to question the system the way that you are now. If I went to an Islamic state and said, guys, what are you doing? You should have separation of church and state. That would very easily be interpreted as blasphemy, and then I'd be imprisoned, or I might have my head chopped off.
Your problem is with this country, really. It's with this country. If people come here and they do the political process and they vote and everything, they're going through the way of the government.
Okay, and I'm also doing that. I'm going through the way of using.
You need to go to them and tell them to change.
Listen. I'm using my democratic tools to fix it by trying to kind of convince people who believe in these things that their beliefs are false and that they don't have any evidence. Yes, actually.
He's going around it the wrong way.
There's one person. One person so far. No. But anyway, I've answered follow-up questions, and it was under the proviso that I might ask you a question. So, what evidence do you have to think that Islam is true? Because you seem like you're quite sure Islam is true. So. Presumably you have some evidence for that.
I just believe in Islam is true. It's my faith.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not allowed to believe in anything else.
Okay. If it's just
constitutional right, I'm allowed to believe in what I want to believe in.
Let me ask a follow-up question. If it's just your faith, and
that's my way of life actually. It's not really.
Okay, so if it's just your faith and your way of life.
Yeah, we're gonna leave soon.
But it's my way of faith. Bother you though.
But he's
let me. I mean, I let you.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So. If it is kind of your faith, your way of life, and you're not sort of making claims like, oh, I have proof Islam is true, or...
I make a claim.
I'm saying you're not making that claim, right?
Did I make a claim too?
No, people
you haven't.
Did I try to force you into Islam?
You haven't. Okay, so, no, but listen to the real question. So, would you... Okay, so, if you simply have, just faith, and, it's just your way of life, you aren't claiming that you have proof, then it wouldn't make sense for you to say but it wouldn't make sense for you to be in favor of a law that, for example, would execute people who convert away from Islam in an Islamic state, because that would be killing people for a belief system which you wouldn't have clear evidence for, right?
That's got nothing to do with...
What do you define as clear evidence?
Well, I'm asking him, did he have any clear evidence? He says, I'm not making that claim, so...
Depends what you define as
do you understand my reasoning? It's if someone says, listen, I'm not saying that Islam is definitely true.
If someone chooses to kill somebody in a country for a crime, that's got nothing to do with
it's about the legal system.
That's their law. People choose to do things in this country. I'm saying you don't need to believe God told them to do it.
It wouldn't make sense to implement Sharia law with a death penalty for apostasy if you didn't have clear evidence that Islam was genuinely true, because then you would be taking the risk of killing someone for no good reason.
Wait.
Where's the evidence for democracy?
Right? That makes sense,
Where's the
right?
evidence
What
for
the?
democracy?
Wait, what's this guy talking about? Well, this guy's
Do you understand the reasoning
Where's
here?
the evidence for
You want to repeat that
democracy?
again for me, James?
Okay,
Right?
okay. No. Okay, let me. This will be really clear. Let's say I come with a book, and I say like, I've been told by God that this is the book of, and it's the best legal system. So let's all do it. And then I say, and one of the laws is that people need to be killed for leaving the religion. And then I start implementing this legal system. And someone asks me, kind of, oh, what's your evidence that this book is from God? And I'd say, oh, well, it's just my faith. But I'm still willing to implement this legal system that will kill people for leaving it. Then I'd be killing people for something that I don't have any sure evidence of. So that wouldn't be sensible, would it? Well, yes or no? Do you understand? Or any takers?
But it can affect the community. Hello?
No, but
It can
listen,
affect the
would that be
community.
sensible of me to do? If it's okay, then I'll do it right now. I'll say like, listen, I've got the book of James, and in it says you should be killed for wearing denim jeans. Kind of, I don't have any evidence that this book of James is from God, but I'm gonna kill you for wearing denim jeans. Like, is that sensible?
Do you think it's sensible?
Huh?
Do you think it's sensible?
No, I think it's stupid.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you think Islam's stupid now?
I think it is definitely stupid to implement a legal system that will kill people for a crime that doesn't really harm anyone if you don't have clear evidence that your legal system is from God.
Yeah,
Because then you would be risking
Yes,
killing
it is.
people for unjust reasons.
Yes, it is. Whether you like
Right?
it, dislike it.
No, come on.
You
Work
have
with me
a-
here.
you
I'm
have
getting
an
through to
issue.
you. I think I am getting through to you.
Nah, not really.
No, what don't you understand? What don't you
I
understand?
just don't understand why you hate Islam. That's what and that was my
No,
question.
it's the worst.
Okay,
That's just my question.
Do you still not understand? Well, for one thing, I don't hate Islam. I dislike Islam.
Okay, you
And
dislike
secondly,
Islam.
I am against anti-Muslim bigotry. I think most Muslims are very good people. Just like they're just like
yeah.
any other group of
Now you are
people.
good
Most of them,
people, right?
just like any other group of people. Most of them are good people. Yeah, that's a bad thing. That's awful. But I think that they have false beliefs, and some of those beliefs are harmful, and I want to show them that they're believing in something false, and I think that will help them live better lives. The same way that you probably think that telling people, oh, don't believe in the cow, like some people say to Hindus, like, oh, don't believe in these polytheist religions. Like, you'll think that you're helping them because you'll think that you're giving them the truth. Whereas, I'm pretty sure that I have the truth that Islam is false, and I'll help you by delivering it to you.
Actually, what I think you have against Muslim, okay, political things. It's not religious things. Because you're jumping from Muhammad the Prophet to the Islam to the Muslims.
Well, you keep on asking me about different things.
You're jumping all over again. You're jumping to all.
No, you asked me about different things, so I have to give different evidence.
We are fair. If you don't like us, it's up to you.
No,
Okay,
it's not
if you
that.
don't
I've just
like
said
it,
that it's
up
not
to
that.
you. Because
I
you
want to
are
help
against the
you.
man you
No,
never met.
if I didn't like you,
Okay,
I'd allow you to
against-
continue being
against
ignorant.
the religion.
If I didn't
You're
like you, I
against
wouldn't
the
try to
people who
help
follow
you.
their religion.
I'm trying to help
Because
you.
I don't remind you, the problem is you're not Christian.
Yeah, I'm not
Because
Christian.
what you did to us when you came to the first visit of ours, in the name of Jesus, okay? So,
What do you mean
cannot,
the first visit of ours?
when you come to
Anyway,
Somalia, what you did in Africa, you want me to remind you. The French, the Italian, the British.
Let's move this.
And
Read that.
what did the Muslims do? They traded slaves.
To whom?
To whom? To themselves.
The problem you don't
There
read
was a
that
slave
much,
trade in
Canada.
the Arab world.
Anyway, I was talking to him.
Anyway.
You again, you interrupt us. When you say no, I didn't. Be my witness, man. Take care, yeah? Oh, you also clean your hearts, man.
I hope that you let my look for the evidence. When this look for this video on YouTube, I'll show you all the evidence of my claims. I'll write an article for it.
Hey, James.
Wallahi, I swear.
Yes, wallahi.
Don't make it true.
Wallahi.
What do you mean two brackets?
You bracket the Muslims, I mean. You have against us. But you have
No, I'm only against beliefs. I'm against ideas. I am against ideas, not people.
If you're against the Prophet and against the religion,
Oh, you convinced him, man. You convinced him.
From your
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to iTunes.
I'm here to
Hello there. How you doing? I'm doing okay, thank you. How are you?
Is this man going to pick this up?
Are you?
Yeah. Is it loud? Is it loud? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
My Muslim friend, they said Islam would be right because many will follow. But Jesus Christ said that's the way of destruction. Islam is the way of destruction. Islam is the way of destruction. Why do I say that? I am ex-Muslim. I am on fire for Jesus.